With their excellent schools and affordable home values, Duluth, Georgia is certainly one of Atlanta's best suburbs. Here's everything you need to know about living in Duluth, Georgia. What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Victor. I'm a local real estate agent here in Georgia, and I put out videos every week about living in Atlanta and living in the cities around Atlanta. In this video, we're going to talk about Duluth, Georgia. Duluth is located in the northeast part of Metro Atlanta in Gwinnett County, which is also the county that has Beaufort and Suwanee, also Lawrenceville. These are really some of Atlanta's most popular cities, and Gwinnett County is certainly one of Atlanta's most popular counties, and Duluth is no different. So many people want to live in the city of Duluth, and that's because there are so many benefits of living in Duluth. Some of the main roads that run through the city of Duluth are Beaufort Highway, Duluth Highway, and Pleasant Hill Road. In addition to that, Interstate 85 also goes right through the outside of Duluth, which is one of the reasons why many people want to live in Duluth. In fact, many of the cities that we talk about, you'll notice, are very close to interstate access. And this is because it makes it easy to get to all the different parts of Atlanta or to get to the city of Atlanta from the suburbs. Remember that Metro Atlanta has 6 million people, and about 95% of those people live in one of the city suburbs of Metro Atlanta. So having interstate access to get to the city of Atlanta or to get to one of the other suburbs around Atlanta is super important for many of the residents who live around Metro Atlanta. One of the most popular parts of Duluth is the downtown Duluth area. Of course, if you're thinking about moving to Duluth or any of the suburbs around Metro Atlanta, feel free to call, text, or email me anytime. Thank you so much to everyone who has reached out. I'm always happy to help. So downtown Duluth is located at the intersection of Duluth Highway and Beaufort Highway. I know these road names are not very creative. I think the people who came up with the names of these roads were not very original, but that's where downtown Duluth is. And one thing that makes downtown Duluth so unique is that it really has this historic charm to it. They've really done a great job of preserving the old feeling of the city, the historic feeling of the city. It's not a new feeling downtown area like Suwanee or like Alpharetta. You know, when you go to those downtown areas, you can tell that those buildings are relatively new. Not the case with Duluth. When you walk through downtown Duluth, it's very easy to recognize the historic aspect to the city of Duluth, especially because there's a train that goes right through downtown Duluth. It's still an active train, so it's very common to be there in Duluth and to periodically have the train pass by. And this is really one of the benefits or the draws to downtown Duluth, having that historic feel while you're going shopping or while you're finding a restaurant. And in addition to that, there's also like a big green area or like park in the middle of the downtown Duluth area where you'll regularly find people playing, or the kids playing, or somebody walking their dog. There's also a big fountain there in the downtown Duluth area. And so it's a great place to spend time, especially nights and weekends. It's very often that you'll find people hanging out there in downtown Duluth. Another big draw for many people who live in the city of Duluth is the school system. In general, the school system for Gwinnett County, which is the county where Duluth is located, is known for having some of the best schools in all of Georgia, maybe even all of the country. And there's no question that many of the people who live in Duluth are there for that excellent public school system. Schools like Harris Elementary School, which is a 9 out of 10 according to greatschools.org, Taylor Road Middle School, which is a 9 out of 10, and Chattahoochee High School, which is a 9 out of 10. Really, many parts of the city of Duluth have excellent schools that are rated 8 or 9 out of 10, and this is not so common in all of the suburbs of Metro Atlanta. There are certainly some cities around Atlanta that do not have such great schools. I mean, I don't necessarily want to point out the bad ones, but there are some parts of Metro Atlanta that still have a ways to go before they have as good of schools as you find in Gwinnett County. So there's no question that there are tons of benefits of living in the city of Duluth, but there are a few things about the city of Duluth that you should be aware of if you are thinking about moving to the city of Duluth. Not everything about Duluth is perfect. Not everything about Duluth is great. There are, in fact, some downsides to living in Duluth, and these things could be deal breakers for you if you're thinking about living in Duluth. So here are a few of the downsides of living in Duluth, Georgia. One of those downsides of living in the city of Duluth is the age of the homes there. Duluth is not known for having new construction or homes built in the last 5 to 10 years. Really, many of the homes that you would find in Duluth were built in like the 70s and 80s, maybe a few in the 90s, especially if the price point is around 500,000 or less. That's really what you're going to find is homes built in the 70s and 80s. Now, there are certainly pros and cons to homes built in the 70s and 80s. Those homes tend to have a lot more charm, a lot more character than some of the newer homes. But what comes with those homes, in addition to the character and the charm, is more home maintenance. You would probably find yourself making more repairs or more maintaining of the home throughout the year with a home built that long ago. As you can imagine, a home built in the 70s could have more problems than a home built in like the 2000s. So something to keep in mind if you're thinking about moving to Duluth. Another downside about living in Duluth is that you're really not going to find a whole lot of things to do in Duluth. It's not like Duluth has a great nightlife and like lots of super exciting things to do. Duluth is more like a small suburban town with lots of families and young families living there. So it's not the kind of city where you're going to be able to walk here and there and find everything that you would need. Like, it's not like the city of Atlanta. It's not like Midtown Atlanta where you're going to find a never-ending amount of things to do. Duluth is not like that. It's a small town. So if you're thinking about moving to a city suburb that has easy walkability to a grocery store or easy walkability to fun things to do, Duluth is not really like that. And then another downside about living in Duluth is that you're going to find a lot of traffic in the city of Duluth. Duluth is a very popular suburb in Metro Atlanta, and because most of the people who live in Metro Atlanta live in one of the suburbs, it's very common to find lots of traffic, especially in Gwinnett County. One thing to consider is that because so many people live in the suburbs and then drive to the city of Atlanta for work, that Interstate 85 in the morning time to the city of Atlanta is going to be really congested. Lots of traffic there on Interstate 85 South to the city of Atlanta from Duluth. And then in the evening times, you'll find a lot of traffic on Interstate 85 North on the way back to the city of Duluth. So while Duluth is super popular and many people want to live there, what you'll also find there is lots of traffic. So there's no question that Duluth certainly has its fair share of issues and problems, but really every city does. Every city has its downsides and every city has its upsides. And really one of the upsides for living in Duluth is the neighborhoods in Duluth. You're going to find lots of community in the neighborhoods of Duluth because that's really a high priority for many of the people who live in Duluth. There are lots of young families who are also looking for community, especially if the neighborhood has an HOA. HOAs are a great place to meet your neighbors or to build community. The HOAs or the homeowners association of the neighborhoods are mostly there for maintaining things like the pool or the tennis courts or whatever other amenities they might have. Many people ask me about the HOAs and are they super strict? Are they very stringent? And like, they are somewhat stringent. They're not going to let the neighbors paint their homes pink or, some crazy color. Like, of course, if you try to do that, the HOA will probably have something to say. But for the most part, the HOAs here in Georgia are not as bad as some of the HOAs in other parts of the country. Again, they're mainly there to maintain the amenities. So here are a few neighborhoods with excellent HOAs in Duluth. This first neighborhood is Hampton Place, which is off of Duluth Highway, about 3.5 miles from downtown Duluth. Most of the homes in this neighborhood were built in the late 90s, and the average size home in this neighborhood is about 2,500 square feet. Most of the lot sizes in this neighborhood are about 1/4 to 1/2 an acre, and the public schools associated with Hampton Place are Harris Elementary School, Duluth Middle School and Duluth High School. This neighborhood has a great HOA with lots of community. They have a pool and tennis courts, and the average home value in this neighborhood is between $475,000 and $500,000. This next neighborhood is the Riverbrook neighborhood, which is off of Rogers Bridge Road, also pretty close to downtown Duluth. Many of the homes in this neighborhood were built in the early 90s, and the average size home in this neighborhood is between 2,500 and 3,000 square feet. Most of the lot sizes in Riverbrook are about a quarter of an acre, and the public schools that are associated with this neighborhood are Chattahoochee Elementary School, Coleman Middle School, and Duluth High School. Riverbrook also has an excellent HOA where you can find lots of community and a pool and tennis courts, and the average home in this neighborhood is about $450,000. And then this next neighborhood is the Sugarloaf Park neighborhood, close to Duluth Highway, about 4 miles from downtown Duluth. Most of the homes in this neighborhood were built in the early 2000s, and the average size home in Sugarloaf Park is about 3,000 square feet. Most of the lot sizes in this neighborhood are about a quarter of an acre, and the public schools associated with Sugarloaf Park are Mason Elementary School, Hull Middle School, and Peachtree Ridge High School. Again, this neighborhood also has an excellent HOA with pool and tennis courts, and the average home in this neighborhood is between $600,000 and $625,000. So Duluth is certainly a great option for young families who are wanting to be in an area with excellent schools and have easy access to the city of Atlanta. And there are a few other upsides or a few other draws to the city of Duluth. And one of those things is the amount of parks and green space that there are in Duluth. No question that Duluth is known for having lots of parks. And with those parks come things like sports fields, baseball fields, or soccer fields, or playgrounds. I know for my family and I, having a playground and a park nearby our home is super convenient, like on a Saturday afternoon when we can't find anything else to do and the kids are like stir crazy and tearing up the house. One of the best things to do is for us to get out of the house, get to a local park or a local playground, and let them get all of their energy out on one of those playgrounds instead of the inside of my house. So having those playgrounds nearby is great, and Duluth has many of those playgrounds as well. Also in Duluth is Gas South Arena, which is really hard to say. It used to be known as Infinite Energy Arena, which is a little easier to say. And then in this arena, they have a lot of events, a lot of shows. Sometimes they have concerts, but it's right there in Duluth. So super close for the residents who live there in Duluth. And then in addition to that, something else that they have in Duluth is Sugarloaf TPC Golf Course. If you are into golf, this is a great place to play golf. Certainly one of the best golf courses in all of Georgia, Sugarloaf TPC. So while Duluth is kind of a small suburban town, there are a few things here and there to do that are around the city of Duluth. If you're wanting to know more about Duluth, check out this video where I talk about the pros and cons of living in Duluth, Georgia. I'll see you there.